The International Baccalaureate has developed this video to support the publication of the revised Personal, Social and Physical Education Scope and Sequence for the Primary Years Programme. This document, published in November 2009, is available from the Online Curriculum Centre. The revised Scope and Sequence contains a comprehensive introduction which revisits the beliefs and values about personal, social and physical education, or PSPE, and its contribution to the overall well-being of the learner. The role of PSPE in a transdisciplinary program is further explored in the introduction, and specific guidance for teachers of physical education is provided. PSPE in the Primary Years program is concerned with the promotion and development of concepts, knowledge, attitudes and skills that lead to an individual's well-being. Well-being is intrinsically linked to all aspects of a learner's experience at school and beyond. It encompasses physical, emotional, cognitive, spiritual and social health and development, and contributes to an understanding of self, to developing and maintaining relationships with others, and to participation in an active, healthy lifestyle. Since the student's well-being can be implicitly and explicitly addressed through all areas of the PYP curriculum, every teacher in the school has a responsibility to support each student's personal, social and physical development. This can be done both within and outside the programme of inquiry. It is acknowledged that in many PYP schools, single subject teachers take responsibility for the physical component of personal, social and physical education. It is vital that these single subject teachers see themselves primarily as PYP teachers who teach physical education, and in so doing contribute to the overall outcomes of a transdisciplinary program. Schools should ensure that there are regular opportunities for collaboration between single subject teachers and homeroom or classroom teachers, as this will help to provide students with a cohesive educational experience. Examples of collaborative processes can be found in the introduction. As part of the review process, 3 common strands have been identified to support the development of the student's overall well-being: identity, active living, and interactions. These strands are concept-driven and have been designed to interact with each other. The PSPE Scope and Sequence has been developed in recognition of the fact that learning is a developmental process and that the phases that a learner passes through are not always linear or age-related. For this reason, the content of the PSPE Scope and Sequence is presented as a series of learning continuums, one for each strand of PSPE. Each continuum has been organised into 4 phases of development. Each phase builds upon and complements the previous phase. These continuums show the conceptual understandings which are being developed at each phase, and evidence of these understandings is described in the behaviours or learning outcomes below. These learning outcomes relate to concepts, knowledge, attitudes and skills associated with PSPE. A set of overall expectations for each strand provides a summary of the conceptual understandings and learnings being developed at each phase. In addition to the transdisciplinary programme of inquiry that provides authentic learning context for the development of well-being, it is acknowledged that many schools will develop an ongoing, balanced physical education programme. If this is the case, the conceptual understandings and learning outcomes from all 3 strands will be useful, helping teachers to plan for meaningful and connected learning experiences for students. The contexts for learning included under the section Guidance for Teachers of Physical Education should be taken into consideration when planning a balanced physical education program. The sample planning process, included in the PSPE Scope and Sequence, aims to provide support for teachers as they prepare to plan for PSPE inquiries. This process is intended as a suggestion rather than a prescribed method of planning. The PSPE Scope and Sequence can be purchased from the IB store, downloaded as a PDF, or viewed as HTML on the OCC. The HTML version is made available to all PYP schools as an alternative format. It allows for easy navigation and is a useful starting point for schools intending to adopt or adapt the PSPE Scope and Sequence. Also included in the HTML version of the Scope and Sequence are sample planners that illustrate how the PYP planner facilitates inquiries involving PSPE concepts. The IB will be looking to add to these samples in the future. If you have planners that have been developed for inquiries within and outside the programme of inquiry, where PSPE is strongly evident, please send these by email to pyp@ibo.org for possible inclusion on this site.